Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Nancy, and if you're new to my channel, kindly subscribe, share, and like my videos, and also put on a notification bell to be notified when I upload new tutorials. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you the simplest method in making a circle dress with these unique bell sleeves. I made use of an Ankara print fabric, and the amount of fabric is 3 yards. But for a plus size person, you should make use of 4 yards. So this is an ostrich feather, which is about 2 yards. I'll be using this in designing the hem of the sleeves. So let's get started. The first step is to fold this fabric in form of a triangle. So from this tip, I held it, making sure that I was able to fold this fabric in form of a triangular shape. So I went ahead to fold this triangular shape into two again. So I practically folded it into four. With this folding method, you realize that one side of the fabric is shorter than the other. So that shorter side will be used as the back of the dress. And as time goes on, I'll show you how I was able to complete the shorter side of the dress. So before taking the markings, I'll show you the proper way to place your fabric. On this side, which is folded, I would make sure that it's actually on a straight line. And this side, which has the opening, should be the slant side of the fold. The first measurement I would place is my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 7 inches. I added half-inch sewing allowance to that, which made it 7.5 inches, and I made sure that I placed the tape where I had the wideness of 7.5 inches. So I went ahead to zoom the camera so you can easily see the markings. On this shoulder line, I placed my tape to mark the neck width, which is 3 inches. For a plus size person, you can mark 4 inches. And a neck depth of 1 inch, which I connected to the neck width as shown. Now on the shoulder line, I placed my tape directly to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus half an inch. And on that point, I went down by 1 inch to connect it to the neck width as shown, and this will be the shoulder slope. From the tip of the shoulder slope, I placed my tape vertically to mark my armhole circumference divided by 2, which is 8 inches. To connect the tip of the shoulder slope to this point as shown. Now I connected this point horizontally, and this will be my bust line. On the armhole line, I placed the tape to mark the midpoint and connected a curve to the bust line as shown. On the bust line, I placed my bust circumference divided by 4 and added 2-inch sewing allowance to the side. The next step is to mark the full length of this dress. I placed my tape directly on the shoulder line as shown. The full length of my dress is 37 inches. I added 1-inch sewing allowance to the hem, which made it 38 inches. Yeah, I marked 38 inches. I would keep adjusting my tape directly on this shoulder line to continuously mark 38 inches till I get to the end of the fold. Now I'll be connecting all points together. On the bust line, after I had placed bust circumference and added the 2 inches sewing allowance to it, you can see that there's like an extra 1 inch away from the sewing allowance. That 1 inch will be placed directly on the end of the hem to connect the 2 points together. Now I went ahead to add half-inch sewing allowance to the top of the shoulder slope. So now I'm trimming out both the front piece and the back piece of the dress at the same time. Recall that when I folded this fabric into four, I told you that one side of the dress will be shorter than the other, which will be the back piece. So I'll just take this out. So this is the front piece of the dress. On the midpoint of this armhole, I placed my tape in horizontally to mark half inch, which I connected to the tip of the shoulder loop and connected it to the bust line as shown. The essence of trimming out this little piece from the armhole region is to eliminate the fold, which is usually on the armhole region of the front piece. The neckline for the back piece should be deeper than the neckline for the front piece. I placed my tape from the shoulder line to mark 4 inches. For a plus size person, you should mark 5 inches so the neck isn't too high. Now I connected the neck width to the neck depth. So this is all for the front piece. This is the back piece of the dress, and in order to conveniently wear this dress without a zipper, what I did was to place my tape vertically from the neck depth to mark 5 inches. And I went ahead to slit the fold open to this point I marked. So it's time for me to complete the shorter side of the back piece. So what I did was to place the back piece directly on the front piece as shown, making sure that all the sides are equal. Alright, you can see that we have some parts missing around this region. So this is the fabric I'll be using to complete this shorter side. Take note that this is the wrong side of the fabric, and this is also the wrong side of the fabric on the pieces I'll be using. Now I'm going to lift the dress and place it directly on the pieces as shown. Make sure that the fabric placed below this dress is a bit higher than this slant line. So the next thing I did was to trim out the hem, and also went ahead to trim this side. So I went ahead to take out the single fabric below to place it on this. So let's assume I'm attaching the piece to the short side of the back piece by half an inch. You'd realize that there's a little excess which is on the new piece. So I trimmed this out. Alright, I'll be taking the back piece to the sewing machine to make a straight stitch and attaching this piece by half an inch. So this is my back piece in its full length. So I folded the back piece into two. I used this little piece to make a loop for the button. The wideness of this piece is 1 inch and the length can be 4 inches. So I went ahead to fold the sides by half an inch and further folded it in to secure it with a straight stitch. Now for the slit facing, this is about 7 inches long and 4 inches wide. So I folded it into two and placed the center fold directly on it to make same slit length. So I took the facing to the ironing board to fold the edges. The next step is to place the right side of the facing directly on the neckline. making sure it's also on the right side of the back piece. Alright, so this is the loop. I folded the loop into two equally and I placed it half inch below the neckline, making sure that the loop is a bit extended outward in order for me to be able to stitch it properly. I took this to the sewing machine to secure the slit following the direction of my finger by half an inch. After stitching the facing, I flipped it to the wrong side of the fabric. In order to make the facing relaxed, I placed an hemming gum in between the facing and the main fabric, which I later took to the ironing board to iron the facing properly. Alright guys, so this is how the facing should be. The next thing I did was to place the front piece of this dress directly on the back piece of the dress to secure the shoulder slope by half an inch. The next step is to use a bias tape in securing the neckline. After I secured the neckline, the next thing I did was to tack a button to fit the loop. So I'll be folding the dress equally and to take this to the sewing machine to secure the sides by 1 inch. So I flipped the dress to the right side of the fabric and the next thing I did was to secure the hem of this dress by folding it in by half inch and further folding it in by half inch all through. For the sleeves, I folded the fabric into two and further folded it into two again. So I practically folded this fabric into four. I ruled the starting line. The wideness of this fold is 13 inches. If you want the sleeve opening to be wider than mine, then you should adjust the fold. Alright, so this is the starting line. I placed my tape from the starting line to mark the cap sleeve line, which is 4.5 inches. And the full length of my sleeve is 24 inches. I added half inch sewing allowance to the hem, which made it 24.5 inches altogether. Now on the cap sleeve line, I placed my tape horizontally to mark my armhole circumference divided by 2, which is 8 inches, and connected it to this edge of the starting line. I placed the tape on the slant line to mark the midpoint. From this midpoint, I connected it to the top of this edge and also connected it below the slant line to the cap sleeve line as shown. Now on the cap sleeve line, I'll be adding extra 1 inch sewing allowance to the side. So remember that this is a bell sleeve, so I went ahead to connect this point to the hem of the sleeve as shown to get a perfect bell sleeve. From this edge, you would place your tape vertically upward to mark 1.5 inches and connect it to the hem line as shown. To attach the feather to the sleeve hem, I folded the hem of the sleeve by half inch. and place the hem on the band of the feathers as shown. I'll be taking this to my sewing machine to stitch directly on the fabric. Alright, so this is how your sleeve should also look like. I folded the sleeves into two and secured the side by half inch. I would also repeat the same sewing process for the other sleeve. Alright, both sleeves are ready, and the final step is to attach the sleeve opening to the armhole of the dress. This is the final outcome of this dress. I hope this tutorial was helpful. You should give it a try, and if you're new to my channel, kindly subscribe, share and like my videos, and also put on your notification bell to be notified when I upload new tutorials.